Hello, today I'm going to review the first autofocus lens from Brightin Star, the Brightin Star 50mm F1.4. My name is Andrei Dima, I'm a professional travel photographer and I love reviewing lenses, so for more lens reviews, subscribe. Brightin Star made some really nice manual lenses in the past and now it seems they started making autofocus lenses. And they started with the most common focal length, 50mm. This is a great focal for portraits and street photography. The Brightin Star lenses have some of the best build quality on the market with a nice and simple design, and so does this one. Let's start with build quality. The lens is made from metal and glass, has a nice smooth finish and a simple design. The markings are engraved, so is the small and subtle Brightin Star logo. The lens has a metal mount but no rubber gasket, that means it is not completely weather sealed. Brightin Star say the lens has some sort of dust and splash resistance. The front element has a fluorine coating, so water will drip off faster and it is easier to clean. On the grey metal mount we can find an USB Type-C port for future firmware updates. The focus ring is made from metal, turns smoothly and it is a joy to use. I like the fact that it covers a large part of the lens. Being made from metal, the lens weighs 450 grams. It is not a big lens but a bit heavy. People that like lenses with metal build will enjoy this lens. The filter thread is 58mm. The lens structure is 12 elements in 8 groups. It has 9 aperture blades and a minimum focus distance of 50 cm. But more on this later. The autofocus of the lens is fast enough and reliable. I missed just 6 photos while testing this lens, but keep in mind I used the Sony ZV-E10 and on other models you may get different results. In video mode again, the lens performs very good, as you can see in this clip here. And the other good news is that this lens has just a bit of focus breathing, noticeable but not a big deal. The image quality of this lens is decent, starting from f1.4, good contrast and decent sharpness, but for a budget lens, a good performance, and the corners are softer and dark because of vignetting. If you stop down to f2, the image improves in the center and corners are a bit better. Stopping the lens down to f2.8 and the image quality is quite impressive in the center of the frame. The vignetting is still visible, but the contrast and details improves a bit in the corners as well. Stopping the lens down to f4 makes the already great center a touch better and the corners now look good. What I liked about this lens is the color rendition. It reminds me of vintage lenses in a good way. Chromatic aberrations, if you shoot wide open you will see some chromatic aberrations, but they are barely noticeable, very good for a budget lens. Longitudinal chromatic aberrations are visible at f1.4 and they completely go away at f4. Flares are well controlled for a budget lens, but I would recommend keeping the lens hood on if you shoot in bright conditions. The minimum focus distance is decent for a lens like this, 50 cm. At f1.4 the image quality is okay and gets great at f2.8. Overall a good option for beginners or people on a budget. Very good build quality, the autofocus is good and reliable in both photo and video, and the image quality is surprisingly good for a lens that costs around $250. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. This lens is available at the moment for the Sony E mount and will be available for Fujifilm X and Nikon Z systems in the future. Overall, it is a good lens. The image quality is decent at f1.4 and great at f2.8. Build quality is very good and it handles chromatic aberrations better than other budget lenses. For their first lens, I think Brightin Star did a decent job with this one. Image quality at f1.4 is decent, but I wish it was as good as it is at f2. So, if you are looking for a lens like this, I think you should consider the Brightin Star 50mm f1.4. If this video was helpful, subscribe, like, and use the links in the description to support the channel at no extra cost to you. See you next time.